I'm Dr. Natalie Phillips, host of Just Connect, a show where we chat about connections through social media, learning opportunities, and through the people we meet every day. Join me every Wednesday on Facebook Live at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I am an audiologist, a business owner, an entrepreneur, and a connector. This life is about connecting for the right reasons and to the right people. I believe making authentic and true connections lead to growth, change, and impacting the world. Hello, Facebook. I am Dr. Natalie Phillips, and I am your host of Just Connect. And today I wanted to talk about confidence. Confidence. It's kind of something that I've been thinking about in the last maybe 24 to 48 hours, and I'll get to why. But I wanted to focus on this because I really feel that I wanted to get some input from you, but then also wanted to share some of my ideas around this. So when we think about confidence, do you automatically think of it as something that's positive, or do you think of it as something that's kind of like scary or negative even? You know, like when you see somebody that's confident, do you think, oh my gosh, that is so amazing. Like that person just inspires me because they're so confident. Or do you sit back and you're like, oh gosh, you know, like she's way too confident for her own good or whatever it is. And so I get these mixed feelings when I'm thinking about the word confidence and trying to figure out, you know, and so put up some feedback, put something in the comments what your thoughts are about confidence. When you first saw this topic, were you excited, or were you kind of like, ooh, maybe I better tune in because this might be kind of interesting, or you know, I don't have confidence, you know, or maybe you're like, maybe I'm overconfident. So I wanted to talk about confidence today, and I really do believe that as I watch successful people, there has to be some sort of, even a tiny little bit in your finger, a bit of confidence that they have to have in order to succeed. What do you guys think? Throw me some likes, some hearts. You know, I just feel like everybody that tends to be successful has to have some sort of confidence. You know, we have to believe in ourselves. We have to speak out. That shows some confidence. We have to show up like we're meant to be there. I think that shows confidence as well. And so when we're talking about this, can you be confident, but can you also be humble? That's something that I worry about being a parent and teaching my kids to have confidence, whether it's have confidence in playing sports, having confidence on the stage. But am I teaching them too much where, you know, it might lead them into being conceited? Or am I teaching them enough so that they're humble? Okay, so these are some of the things that my head was trying to wrap around in the last 24 to 48 hours. And if confidence is really a good thing, or if it could ever be a bad thing. So this all surrounded, let me just kind of back up. So this all surrounded my thoughts because my daughter today actually had an audition. She is in a summer musical camp. And so she had an audition. So they were supposed to work. It started yesterday. And so they just got their monologue yesterday. And so they were supposed to prepare a monologue, a song, and 2 dances, you know. And yes, I could just come home, bring her home, get her started, and kind of get her going on that. However, many of you who know me know that I am a tiger mom. So we didn't just kind of work on the monologue, but to memorize it, but we went a little bit further. Shocker. But we went further, and it was, you know, we worked on staging, walking across the stage. We worked on pausing, on motions, maybe holding a note just right because that's where her vibrato comes out, pointing that foot when she's dancing, practicing an accent because the show that she was auditioning for is Matilda. So she had to practice everything in a British accent, and then lighting up the face. The list can go on and on and on and on of the steps that we took. So I didn't just work with her to memorize it, but I worked with her to perfect it, you know, and really put her best foot forward. And when we do this extra mile with our kids to, quote, do their best or to stand out, you know, my thoughts go back to, are we really trying to get her to connect to the audience? Or are we doing it to be competitive and we're trying to beat out another person? Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? So if if you have kids out there and you guys are parents, throw me some comments out there, even in the replay, and just kind of come along this journey with me as we talk about confidence. So being in the competition world, my daughter was a competition dancer for 5 years. There are many different ways parents approach competition. So I've seen the full on like hair, makeup, bright clothes so that you stand out, a flower or a big huge bow in the hair. And I don't think that that's bad. You're trying to get your kids to stand out. Hello, Anthony. You're fashionably late. Thank you so much for joining me. We're talking about confidence, and I was kind of battling in my head a little bit more just within the last 24 to 48 hours if confidence is a good thing or a bad thing. And so that's what I'm talking about. It all started with working with my daughter on her audition for today. And I'm talking now about, being in the competition dance world for 5 years with my daughter. I've seen so many parents kind of push their kids out. One would be just makeup, hair, and clothes, right? Makeup, hair, and clothes. Ken Walls, good to see you. Talking about the dance world, so you know this very well with Abigail. But I see so many parents just kind of, make up their daughters so that they can stand out, which to me I don't really have a problem with. Fix up the hair, the makeup, things like that. And that's one thing. Encouraging your kid to move to the front of the room so that you can be seen. That's not bad either. I might be pushing it a little bit. Maybe you're starting to give your kids at this age this notion that in order for them to be seen, they have to be in the front. To me, this is all my preference, you guys. So to me, just a little bit more of a push, right? And then here's something that I noticed, because in the dance world, they learn numbers, and then they break off into groups, anywhere from 4 to 6 groups. And then they jump on, and then each group has a chance so that the instructor can see the kids in that particular group. Now, I'll tell you, in some areas, I have seen a kid jump from group to group and do the routine 6 times, just so that they could be seen, because the result is actually getting a scholarship and getting some money, or just being seen, basically, by these really, really neat choreographers. So to me, that's where my Tiger Mom, claws are like, okay, that is so not fair, but is it? And so are we teaching our kids to be confident, or are we pushing them a little bit too far? And so this is where I'm starting to kind of wrestle in my mind about this. It made me think, and it made me ask the question that, do you think that preparation is a guarantee of a successful outcome? So we're talking about preparation, not like pushing somebody up to the front, not like making the right hair, the makeup, whatever it is, but I'm talking about preparation. Can you prepare enough? Going back to my daughter's audition today, can you prepare and guarantee a successful outcome in what you're doing, whether it's at work, whether it's at dance, whether it's an audition? But I think it all depends on what your definition of success is, right? How do you define success? How are you defining success for your company? How are you defining success for the people that work for you, or the people that work with you? And does pushing yourself, or pushing your kid, or pushing your employee, or pushing somebody else to be seen, does that lead automatically to confidence? I don't think so. So if you're out there and you're watching this, or you're catching the replay, give me some thoughts of what you guys are thinking about. Because again, this is something that I'm just wrestling around in my head. And, just thinking about, is confidence a good thing? And when does it become a bad thing? Let's look at other areas. A lot of us have talked about these participation medals, or these participation trophies that kids get, right? When they first start off doing something like playing a sport, and that's okay. That's okay. I know a lot of parents are like, okay, nobody should be getting participation trophies. So everybody has a different outlook, right? But we introduce and expose our kids to all kinds of things to buff up this competition world, this competitiveness. And are we really pushing out confidence? That's my issue. They are auditioning, they are making a team. Maybe they go through and they're judged. They have to deal with wins and losses. We've all done this as a kid, right? And so it's how you take it into being an adult is that transition of how are you growing your confidence, and are you taking it to the more egotistical side, or are you taking it to the more humble side, right, of being confident. But even at any point, once we reach a certain goal, there always has to be something else ahead of us that we're reaching for. So you can't just reach a goal and then sit back and say, okay, I'm totally done, right? I mean, what does that do to your confidence? But if you are constantly having another prize in mind or a goal, you're going to strive for that. And it's going to build your confidence even more, because when you reach that higher goal, you're going to be able to say, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Like, I would have never thought that I would have been able to do that. And oh my gosh, I totally did it. That's taking your confidence level to taking it to another level, right? There are things that I think that we actively have to work on, right? And it may not necessarily be in our comfort zone, but part of adulting is to do it anyway. So today on my page earlier, if you guys kind of saw, I put up a quote that said, if you can't beat fear, do it scared. Okay? If you can't beat fear, do it scared, or do it anyway. So how many of us allow our minds to succumb to fear and actually say, yeah, I'm not going to do it. You know what? I really don't need it anyway. So, it's not that important. I don't think I'm going to do it. Or, you know what? I really don't know how to do it. So I'm just going to sit back, and I just don't think I'm going to do it after all. Right. So these are what I say is these are our adult minds, because I feel like for kids, they'll just get out and do it because either you told them that they need to do it, or they just have this childlike faith. Right. But when we reach an adult status, it's kind of like things hold us back. Anthony, yeah, he says that was a great quote. I love that quote. And I know our friend Lisa Copeland shared it out too. But I love it because I feel like fear holds a lot of us back, a lot of us adults back from doing things. And when was the last time that you truly acted in confidence and did something scared? I mean, if you did, put it in the comments because I would love to see it. But I feel like there's so many times where we sit back and think, yeah, I just don't think I'm going to be able to tackle that. So I'm just not going to do it, when we sit back. So I wanted to give you some takeaways and talk about ways to step into confidence every day. Okay. So I have 3 points or 3 ways that we can help each other step into confidence a little bit better every day as a reminder. Number 1 is to breathe and to pause. So breathe and pause. Now, when you think about breathing or when you pause, it's like when you're about ready to go up and maybe talk in front of a bunch of people. I still get nervous actually, but in order to get that nervousness away, I kind of tell myself things like, I'm not nervous, I'm excited, right? Because it's the same type of body reactions that you are feeling when you're nervous, then it's the same thing as when you're excited. So I tell myself that in my head, but also before I step out, I am breathing and pausing. So that's my first thing, is to breathe and pause. I literally go, oh, okay. And then I go. Right? So breathing and pausing, why it's so important is because it increases focus, it boosts awareness, right? It reduces stress, and it maintains energy levels so that you do better work. And for some people, breathing and pausing or taking a step back, even in sports, maybe it will reduce injuries or risks that you're going to have to an injury. But when you stop and pause and breathe, and it might not be a second, it might be a couple hours. You would just walk away from what you're working on and then you come back. Or it might be a couple weeks, or it might be a week. It might be a couple days. Okay, let me just step away, breathe, and pause. So it could be longer. But anytime that you breathe and you pause, my point is you have to set a goal. You have to set a goal of how often will you pause or breathe and how long. That is super important, because if you don't set those goals, you're going to be stuck on I paused and I can't remember what I was supposed to do or how long I was supposed to do this, or, and you get caught up on other things. A lot of us are entrepreneurs. And so we're going to find something else to do and we're going to forget to come back. So you have to set goals of how often and how long. And Anthony says, we all have inner greatness inside us. It's a matter of breaking through the bottlenecks of fear, laziness, and self-preservation to release it. Absolutely. That's great, Anthony. Thanks for sharing that. All right, so number 1, how to step into confidence every day is to breathe and pause, right? But set a goal around breathing and pausing. Number 2 is to think positive and to talk positive. Now, mindset is everything. I totally get that. And I've even heard negative in, positive out. I know a lot of you guys have said negative in, positive out, but that also means that you have to actually be aware and be able to do this. Some people are not even aware that that was negative in order to get it out, but sometimes it's not always that, but sometimes it also means to get rid of outside influences. That could be people, that could be jobs, that could be, work or energy that you're putting your time into. Get rid of those outside influences. Focus on the present, use positive thinking, and maybe treat yourself like you would a friend. That's the best way that I can say about acting positive. We're always so negative about ourselves. The way we look, the way we are producing, the way we're working. And, we look at other people so easily and say, oh my gosh, like, man, if I could just do what she does, or if I could just finish a job like what she does or what he does, whatever it is. We're so hard on ourselves. And so if you think and frame your mind around, when I look in that mirror and I look at myself, treat myself like I would say to a friend what you should be doing, and snap out of it and be positive. And I think that's a great way of thinking about how to just think and talk positively to ourselves. The last thing I have is to just do it. Take action. Take action. Be a doer instead of a thinker, which requires an insane amount of discipline and commitment. So, sometimes I think thinking about doing something is actually more exhausting than doing it, right? So if it is fear of the unknown, that's where my quote comes in. Do it anyway and do it scared. Again, the quote that I put up today was, if you can't beat fear, do it scared. Do it anyway. Take action. All right. So the outcome of my daughter's audition and what we worked on was, did she get the role or not? So those of you hanging in there and watching to the end, she actually got a pretty good role in Matilda. She is a escapologist. So she's got, some really cool role, lines in song, a solo or whatever it is. I actually have not seen Matilda, the musical, so I have no idea. So we're going to work on going through her script tonight and highlighting what she needs to learn. And they do an amazing job, and they only have 3 weeks, but it's 4 days a week to put on this full-blown musical, and it has been incredible. She's done this for the past few summers there. And actually, it's really only 12 days, and so it's unbelievable what they do with these kids. All right, so just thinking about this again. Hello, Corey Workman. Good to see you. You'll have to go back and catch the replay. I spent time talking today about confidence, talking about what we're learning out there. When do we teach it to our kids? When do we learn this? What kind of goals can we still set so that we are still pushing ourselves to be challenged to be more confident? And when you actually want to do something and you feel that fear, to do it scared and to do it anyway. Anthony says, I used to tell my clients that I love math but hate algebra, as I don't like the unknown. In saying that, I refuse to be afraid of the unknown because I go all in every day. Yes, and I feel like, Anthony, and you can share this a little bit more too, but I feel like it is a mindset. And once you start taking those small steps to build up that confidence, I feel like it gets easier and easier to take those steps. Now, yes, the goals might be harder to reach, but I feel like every little step gets you a little bit closer to being confident. And at the beginning of this, if you go back and watch the replay, the thing that I was worried about was when we do learn confidence, right? Because we're all teaching it to as young as our kids. Are we teaching it to them so that they still stay humble about it? Or are we teaching it to them so that they're competitive? I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Those of you who are parents, those of you who think about this as much as I do, I really try to be a parent that pushes my kids hard. As long as they're working hard, I don't have a problem. But like you said, Anthony, if I see laziness, if I see that you're not trying hard, then I have a problem, going back to the topic of confidence, it's just one of those things where I want us to be cognizant of truly being confident, because we're learning something about ourselves and we're putting ourselves out there and we're trying to inspire others. Everything that I like to share is about what can we do to make the world a better place. And whether it's learning from each other, learning from what we're going through in our journey, I really feel like it's not worth it unless we're sharing it, right? So with that, I want to challenge you guys that try to look for other opportunities, and no matter if you fail and you fail fast, or you succeed with whatever your definition of success is, look for that opportunity and take it again. Don't sit back. Don't let our adulting minds come in and say, yeah, okay, I don't need this and I'm not going to do it. I want to challenge you guys to find those opportunities and to do it again, because it's going to build our confidence level up. Anthony says, I don't believe in luck and skill will only get you so far, but mindset will take you straight to the top. You know what? I totally agree with that. And Corey says this is a timely topic for our household. I know. Corey, I don't know. I mean, you're a parent too, and I just feel like with a lot of the things that our kids do and performances and teams and everything, it got me thinking, and it got me sometimes, down the path of being worried about teaching our kids too much confidence, but challenging themselves, right, too, at the same time. So it's kind of one of those seesaws or balances or something, where you want to have that really good balance of what we teach. And it's not just about kids. It's, if you think about your business and you think about your coworkers, you think about your staff, it really is encouraging your people to have this confidence, have this inner confidence, and giving them the opportunities to step into their confidence. So thank you so much for joining on this Wednesday. And if you missed any of my episodes prior to this episode, they're all on YouTube. I've got my link down at the bottom there. You look up Dr. Natalie Phillips. They're all on YouTube there, or you can catch it on this page as well. And thank you guys so much for joining, and I hope you have a great evening. All right, bye.